We did what we had to do for our country. This statement is the common thread of this story. Jim's day-to-day experience on his ship was transporting real heroes, as Jim called them, to strategic shore locations. I asked Jim about the bombs hitting all around his transport boat and what methods they used to avoid being hit by them. Jim said luck, and he was serious. Jim and I discussed the difference between the kamikaze Japanese pilots of World War II and the terrorist strap-on bombers of today. It seemed to both of us that there were many similarities. If we can successfully fight back the attacks of the relentless kamikaze fighter pilots, then surely we can fight back the so-called virgin-seeking terrorists of today. The courage to lay down your life for a cause is what all soldiers do each and every day. In the World War II days, it was very easy for us to see that our country was doing the right thing. Today, in my opinion, we are fighting a war, a never-ending war over the beliefs that my God and my country's principles are better than yours. Thank you, Jim, for serving our country so honorably.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve O'Brien, and I'm here with my lifelong friend, Mr. Jim MacPherson. And Jim is going to speak with you in regard to his career in the Navy. Jim, it's all yours.
Thank you, Steve. I just wanted to bring out about the time I was in the Navy, time that we invaded Iwo Jima, and my ship got hit there. I was telling Steve about it, and nobody was really injured too seriously, and we then went back to the States to have repairs made. And I guess Steve asked me about the difference between our war in World War II versus the war today, and I told him that the way I feel about it is that we were fighting different countries then, and today they're fighting terrorists.
Okay, I would like to ask you to bring up, Jim, if you don't mind, your story about going across the equator and how that went down, and some of the special things that went on as you went across the equator.
Well, it's a Navy tradition that when you go across the equator, you have to be initiated. And they run you through various things. We have a bunch of our crew dressed up like women, and then they had various things they had you do. They had a Bible with a bacon rind on it that they asked you to kiss, and that was one of the things they've done for initiating. Then they give you a nice diploma afterwards saying that you were then been initiated and a member of the Neptune Society.
Okay. The next question that I would like for you to address was, I asked you about when you were most frightened, or an experience that may have happened to you in the course of the war, in just the fear of being on the ship.
Well, the worst thing that happened to me was I was on duty in the engine room, and our ship got hit from shore batteries at Iwo Jima, and when your ship gets hit like that, they tighten down all the hatches, and I was wondering if I would ever get out of that engine room alive.
And you have a Chinese person or something that was a part of that story?
Well, when they sounded general quarters, we had a Chinaman who was a storekeeper on there, a Chinese American, and he asked me what all those bells and whistles were blowing for and ringing. I said, "But I'll tell you one thing, they're not jingle bells." And that was the last I seen of it. And he went to the down below and covered up with a couple of mattresses.
Got it. Was there any special bonding? Have you and any of your fellow Navy heroes, do you still keep in communication, or did you stay in communication after the war?
Well, I had a few of them that were from this area in Kentucky that I stayed in contact with, and most of them have passed away now. And the hero part of it, I felt like the heroes in this war were the Marines that we loaded into the small craft and went in for the invasions, and had to put up with a lot of them being wounded, and we brought some of them back on our ship, and they used our place we ate our chow for operating room.
My next question is, did you realize at 19 years old the significance of the battles that you were in? Did you realize the cost and what was at stake? And were you truly passionate about fighting in the war that you were in?
Well, it's a lot different, of course, today than it was back then, but being a young man like I was, I felt like that I was just doing my part to help our country. And the war at that time was something that you don't see today.
Okay. And I guess this is the last question I would like for you to address. You have grandchildren, and would you be interested, or would you be favorable, or would you motivate your grandchildren to enlist and be a part of the armed services for the United States today?
Well, I hope that we never have any more wars, and see my grandkids enter into the service. But if it was necessary for this country, I would say it would be okay for them to go in.
Okay, I'm going to fade to black here. As before I do that, if there's anything else that you that might come to your mind here in closing this out, I would again like to personally thank you, Jim, for the services that you provided us for our freedom and making us safe and getting us beyond an incredible fighting force. And I'm incredibly appreciative. I'm also extremely appreciative of you as a person for how you have treated me my entire life, the respect that you gave all of us as teenagers, and I want you to know that I appreciate the longevity of your wisdom and your connection with us. It's always been a pleasing, positive experience, and I truly love you and your entire family. They are wonderful people.
Well, thank you, Steve, for those kind remarks. But you know that we always treated you guys like you were part of our family, and we still do.
Amen, brother. Thank you very much.